All right, we're live streaming, so I'm going to go ahead and record. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here this evening. My name is Dante Arnwan. I serve as the District Manager of Brooklyn Community Board 9. I want to welcome everyone who's online and folks who may be attending via live stream on YouTube. Welcome. We are here to do a tax prep workshop with the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection. I want to thank Ed here for being the representative from DCWP and being here to provide this great information to the community. As you probably are aware, tax season is right around actually we're in the midst of tax season, and tax day is shortly approaching. And so we wanted to put on this programming to give folks, members of the public, an opportunity to hear about the services that are provided by the city. If you know of anyone who may need these services, they can reach out to Community Board 9 at 718-778-9279, or you can email us at bk09-1@cb.nyc.gov if you would like more information following the presentation today. I will turn it over to Ed, who is our representative from the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection.
Thank you, Dante. Good evening, everyone. I'm just going to start by sharing my screen, and I'm happy to just jump right into this presentation. And like Dante mentioned, tax day is upon us. It's April 18th this year. It's on a Tuesday, so I just want folks to be aware of that. So again, thank you for joining us today for a presentation on not only NYC free tax prep, but on financial empowerment. So as Dante mentioned, my name is Ed Sen, and I am the Senior Community Affairs Associate with the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection. And just to provide a little background on who we are as a city agency, we were formerly known as the Department of Consumer Affairs. That has since changed, and we are now the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection, also known as DCWP.
Ed, your audio cut out just a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. As I was saying, I wanted to introduce our agency. So the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection, also known as DCWP. So it's our mission to protect and enhance the daily economic lives of New Yorkers to create thriving communities. And what that means specifically is we as a city agency license more than 59,000 businesses, such as car washes, tobacco shops, used car dealerships. We also enforce workplace rights. So your right to take a sick day and not be punished for that. So if you're encountering any issues with your employer, you would contact us and we would help mediate that situation. So we also offer financial empowerment resources to help you to help support your financial health. And with respect to that, I'd like to talk to you about two major programs that can help you save money and achieve your financial goals. So the first is NYC Free Tax Prep. This has been a program within our department for the past 21 years. DCWP has led this annual tax campaign where we connect New Yorkers with certified tax preparers who are paid by the city to do your taxes for free. So with NYC Free Tax Prep, the preparer that you're using, these are trusted professionals that are volunteers, but you're avoiding having to pay expensive tax preparer fees. We're hearing from New Yorkers they're paying anywhere from $250 or $300 at a minimum and upwards to $500. And we want to ensure that New Yorkers are accessing this free service. So our preparers are trained to ensure that you're claiming valuable tax credits, which means a bigger refund and more money that's going back to your household. So for many of New York City's working families and individuals, a tax return can serve as the largest paycheck of their year. So too often we're seeing that money is being left on the table because folks might not understand that they're eligible for specific tax credits, or they may be using a tax preparer that would be charging them for services that would otherwise be free through our program. So there are some important examples of tax credits, such as the child tax credit or the earned income tax credit. And more than 80,000 families in New York City are eligible for the earned income tax credit. And this past year alone, DCWP and Mayor Adams has fought in Albany to expand the earned income tax credit to put more money in the pockets of hardworking New Yorkers. So we've had many success stories over the years, and since 2014, our providers have completed more than 900,000 tax returns for New Yorkers, and bringing an estimated $136 million in fee savings to hardworking New Yorkers like yourselves. So last year we had a filer who learned about the child tax credit through our campaign, and they were able to get connected with a tax preparer, and at the end of the after they filed their return, they received more than $30,000 in their tax refund filing with us. So our providers can complete returns for all taxpayers, regardless of their immigration status. And to use this free service, so generally speaking, families have to have an income of $80,000 or less. And for single filers, they have to have an income of $56,000 or less. There may be some sites that have varying or higher income thresholds, and we ask that you be sure to visit nyc.gov/tax prep to take a look at our map for locations and details. I'll provide a quick overview of our website as well at the end of this presentation, but I wanted to highlight that we have more than 150 sites across the city that offer a mix of different services to best meet your needs. So there are 4 different types of services that we offer. So the first being in-person tax prep, where you're sitting down with a volunteer preparer after scheduling an appointment. So when you're so at these in-person tax prep sites, you're meeting with a knowledgeable IRS certified volunteer income tax assistance preparer, where they would help you complete an accurate tax return. Typically, some of these appointments would last anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour. If that doesn't meet your schedule, perhaps you would want to consider drop-off services, where you would drop off your documents and pick up your completed return at a later date. So at a drop-off site, filers can drop off your specific tax documents and then pick up your completed return at a later time. We're also continuing with our virtual tax prep services. So it's very much like in-person filing, but online. So you're just meeting with a tax preparer virtually using video conferencing software, much like how we're conducting this meeting over Zoom. So you're using a secure digital system where you can submit photos or scans of your tax documents to the preparer. You would confirm your identity and then complete your return by video conference or over the phone with a preparer. So, and lastly, we also offer assisted self-preparation. This is a free online tax prep on your own with help should you need it. So this allows New Yorkers who want to file it by themselves to complete your tax return online. And should you have any questions, you can access a volunteer preparer who will be available by phone or email to answer any specific questions that you would have. And for this service, you would need access to either a computer, a tablet, or a smartphone and a stable internet connection. So just to give you a sense of that. In terms of language access, this is something that is extremely important, and we ensure that our volunteers speak many different languages. So what you see on your screen, these are the main languages that we offer our services in, and on our website, on the map, you would be able to differentiate and sort out the different sites that would offer the languages that are highlighted here. So these are the main 13 languages that that we provide our services in. However, if our provider does not have on-site language capacity, so if a language that you speak and it's not one of these 13 that are highlighted here, we also have translation services it's a contracted service through the city to help facilitate your appointment. So our translation services provides capacity in more than 180 different languages. So we just want to ensure that we are providing these services to all New Yorkers. So in terms of your documents and what you would need when you arrive at your appointment, we want to make sure that you have a photo ID, such as your ID NYC or your driver's license or a state issued form of identification or federal form of identification. You would also provide your tax ID number, so such as your Social Security number, or your individual taxpayer identification number. So that would be an ITIN. If you don't have an ITIN number and would like one, some of our providers can also help assist filing for one as well. You would also want to provide proof of income, such as your W-2 or a 1098 or 1099. We want to remind New Yorkers that child care expenses can also be deducted. And you could provide your bank account and routing number for your refund to be deposited directly into your bank account. And lastly, I do want to mention, should you choose to use a paid preparer for your taxes, you have rights. So the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection produces and requires that these paid tax preparers disclose our consumer bill of rights regarding tax preparers. We want New Yorkers to always be on alert for preparers that may overcharge or charge hidden fees, or even filing your return without your permission. So with that said, I also want to highlight a new service that we are providing for self-employed New Yorkers. So if you work for yourself and you need to file your taxes annually and make estimated tax payments quarterly, NYC free tax prep services can help, and we've expanded our services. So there are sites that offer services for self-employed or Schedule C assistance. So from now until April 18th, they would help assist with completing your tax return, and the same criteria would apply in terms of $80,000 or less for families, $56,000 or less for single filers, and with business expenses of $250,000 or less. And starting this summer, self-employed New Yorkers will have access to these specific free resources. So when you're meeting with a tax preparer, they would help you with your quarterly estimated tax filings. They would offer workshops to learn the basics of tax filing and also record keeping best practices for your business. They would also offer one-on-one consultations to get personalized assistance and tools that would specifically meet your needs for your business, and offering toolkits and more. So examples would be record keeping templates, and also access to different city resources and services that to help you build assets and to grow your business. Next, I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about our financial empowerment centers. So these are locations where you can go and meet with your own personal financial counselor. So our free financial counseling services is available to anyone who's over the age of 18 and whether they work or live in New York City. There's no specific income or immigration status restriction. There are more than 30 in-person sites that operate across the city. And this has been going on since 2008, where counselors have helped more than 65,000 New Yorkers reduce their debt by more than $85 million and build more than $10 million in savings. So when you meet with a financial counselor, the first thing that they'll ask you is, what are your goals? So for example, are you looking to repair your credit? Are you looking to save up for a specific purchase, be it a home, a car, or if you need help tackling your debt? So from there, your financial counselor would develop an assessment of your financial health and work with you to help you achieve your specific goals. So with your financial counselor, you would also develop, you'll be able to develop a short-term and long-term plan to achieve these goals. And we highly encourage you to schedule follow-up appointments, just like you would see your doctor on a regular basis. We want to make sure that you're staying in contact either via the phone or email to making sure that your needs are being met and you're following your plan. In terms of appointments that are available, we offer these services during the weekends, evening hours, and over the phone as well, just in terms of accessibility. And with regards to these financial empowerment centers, this is something that we've also expanded our services into in partnership with the Department of Small Business Services, specifically within their Workforce One career centers, where we're providing new financial counselors that will be placed in these workforce centers across all 5 boroughs. And this expansion is expected to serve 4,000 new clients per year, but also the service will be integrated within the Department of Small Business Services workforce development programming, and will only be available to Workforce One clients. So for more information, you can find your closest Workforce One center. So with that said, I'd like, if you require more information, you can always reach out to us via 311 or nyc.gov/DCWP. So here I'm just going to end this presentation and stop sharing for a moment. But I'm happy to address any questions that anyone has. And I also wanted to just share with you in the chat, or for anyone that's viewing this. I don't think there's a chat available, but
yeah, unfortunately not, no.
So it's nyc.gov/tax prep is for our tax prep services. And then for our financial empowerment services, nyc.gov/talk money. So just to quickly navigate you through our website. And so if you need assistance with NYC free tax prep, when you enter the website, I mentioned nyc.gov, this is the /tax prep. This is the landing page that it'll take you to. So depending on what your needs are, the first 2 services that I mentioned, if you're interested in in-person tax prep or drop-off services, you would just click on this map. I've just opened this in a new tab, and I'll come back to these other services that I mentioned earlier. But just to give you a sense of the services, we'll focus on the providers within CB9's district. So I know for a fact that the Central Library is a provider, so they offer their services. So the Brooklyn Library at Grand Army Plaza, they offer their services Monday and Wednesdays from 10 to 4 p.m. And you would be just click on their link to schedule an appointment. And as far as their income limits, so it's $80,000, as I mentioned, for families, and for individuals without dependents, it's $56,000. And in terms of their services that they provide, they can also offer assistance with amending returns from prior years, and also if you, for whatever reason, didn't file or didn't need to file prior year returns, they would be able to assist with that as well. Unfortunately, language access, they're only providing services in English, but here over on Bedford Avenue, this is in partnership with Food Bank for NYC. So there's an income limit of $60,000 for all filers. So that is something to be I want to highlight. And they're only offering document drop-off services, so you wouldn't be able to schedule an in-person appointment. But a little bit further south, I guess this is towards CB14 here, is the Flatbush Library branch at Brooklyn College. So there is a little bit more in terms of available in terms of language access. So Haitian Creole, Chinese, specifically in Mandarin, Russian, and Spanish, in addition to English. And to get a sense of their dates, so they offer services on Mondays and on Tuesdays and Fridays, and also on Saturdays. So that's just to give you a sense there. But if you need a specific language, or you can also enter your personal address just to see your closest location. But if you are interested in just finding services in the languages that are offered here, you would be able to conduct a search like that as well. Or if there's a special service that you need, so whether it's in person. And Steve, I see you have your hand up. I'm happy to address any questions that you have.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the workshop. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I'm on the commute. So I had tried to find a location like a couple 3 weeks, I don't know, a while back. And I had called, left the email to the locations because they said it's only by appointments usually. It died down after like the wave, and now it's easy to get an appointment to get a one-on-one. Because, and do they help amend? Because I ended up filing it, and then I don't know if I filed it the right way in the pre-tax print, like the tax layer. I think I used.
I'm sorry, you broke up there at the end a little. What was your question? So you filed and
Steve, your audio is going in and out. I think what he was having trouble with is that he was just unable to get maybe in contact with a specific location. It sounds like he said he needed to do an amended return and sent emails, and it sounded like he didn't hear response.
Yeah, exactly. Called, email, nothing.
So here I'm just pulling up the Brooklyn Public Library. So I haven't looked at this in a while, but you can see the times and dates. So right now I'm looking at the Flatbush branch, for example, and they have appointments next week on the 4th in the evenings or late afternoons, also on Fridays, a number of dates. So it really depends on the site, because these are contracted services. So depending on and which site is hosting the provider. So I can also just check the central libraries just to get a sense of their availability. I know time is of the essence, and it's hard. So depending on the neighborhood, but I'm happy to see that next week there are some availabilities with the central library as well. So I would highly recommend scheduling a date if you do have questions on your return that you filed. I think this is something that you can ask the preparer and share with them the documentation.
And would any of those be virtual? Because I don't know if I live in Brooklyn, but I work in Harlem, so I don't know if
I see. Yeah, so I can just go back to our main website here. So in terms of online services, so there are a list of virtual providers. So on the drop down here, I don't know since you're on a mobile phone, if you can see this, but online tax prep services. So each of the providers has its own website that you can utilize. So I know Arriva is a partner that's in the Bronx, but more locally in Brooklyn, the Bedford-Stuyvesant Restoration Corporation. They have their own websites in terms of just accessing these appointments and scheduling. So here, I know it's frustrating for some sites that you would have to call and just schedule an appointment, and it might be easier. So it looks like the Bed-Stuy Restoration Corp does have you can schedule an appointment through them virtually, but that is just my recommendation. So for those that are tuning in as well, so just to highlight, our website is nyc.gov/tax prep, and I just went over just how you would access scheduling an appointment, whether it's in person or also online. So for those that are living in Brooklyn, I do highly recommend, not that we favor one site over the other, but I have worked with the Bedford-Stuyvesant Restoration Corp on many occasions, and I do like their staff personally, just because they've gotten back to me, and I'm sure the other sites that we have contracted with are reliable as well. But being from Brooklyn, that's what I would definitely just recommend. But so also I just wanted to highlight where we have free tax prep services for self-employed New Yorkers. So there's a separate section here with regards to assistance in filing your taxes for this year, and then more information about the services. So that would be starting in the summer. So the workshops and the toolkits, that will be something that we'll be updating on this website as well. So if there are no other questions, I just also wanted to go over our free financial empowerment centers. So that website is nyc.gov/talkmoney. And you would book an appointment online through the link here. And just to give you a sense of what that would look like, Dante, you had a question?
You can go ahead and finish.
All right. So you would choose Financial Empowerment Center. We also have our Ready to Rent program. So if anyone's searching for affordable housing through the NYC Housing Lottery, an appointment is meant to help you check your credit and calculate your income for these housing applications and saving for moving expenses. So there is a dedicated program for that as well. But in terms of availability, there are a number of availabilities for financial counseling as well. So so as early as next Monday, so on the 3rd. So depending on where you are, So our friends at Campbell over on Church Avenue, let's see when their closest availability is. So they have appointments next Tuesday and Wednesday, and you would just select a time and a specific counselor. So next week at 9 with Coretta Hudson, and it's as simple as just filling out this form. So your contact information, your name, your email address, your phone number, and how you heard about this. And then you would just submit and you'll get a confirmation of your appointment. So I'm happy to address any other questions that folks may have, but yeah, I'm just happy to be able to share these resources with Brooklyn CB9.
I have a quick question. Is there one specific deadline for when these tax prep services end, or does that depend on the specific provider?
That depends on the specific provider and personal needs. So we do offer year-round services, but I would say a majority of the sites will be shutting down after the tax season. There will be some specific sites. So our friends at the Bedside Restoration Corp, they do year-round services, and should folks need additional services because they heard back from the IRS and there's an issue. So there are services available to New Yorkers. There are, meaning year-round services, but in terms of just dedicating to tax season, we're focusing it from January to April.
Understood. All right. Are there any more questions for Ed from the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection? Seeing none, Ed, do you have any final thoughts?
I just want to remind folks that April 18th, it's coming up soon. I'm glad to see that both branches, the Central Library and the one a little further south of CB9 in Flatbush has appointments available. It looks plentiful, so please, if you haven't done so, schedule an appointment. Other districts where I've done presentations over, for example, in Sunset Park, appointments are really hard to come by. So I urge you folks to make your appointment today.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Okay, then. Well, Ed, thank you so much. I want to thank Ed for being here from the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection. I want to thank the agency itself providing these services to us and partnering with us to provide these services to our community. So thank you. For folks who were able to join us, thank you for being on the call. If you need additional information, again, you can go to the Department of Consumer Worker Protection's website. If you're unable to find that, you can reach out to Community Board 9 at 718-778-9279. You can email us at bk09-1@cb.nyc.gov. I'm the district manager, Dante Arnwine, and it was absolutely a pleasure to be with you all tonight. Enjoy your evening and be well.